Now friends, come to this particular question. Now see, in this particular question, there is a foreign company. Foreign company entered into agreement with an Indian company on 1/6 of the previous year, under which industrial equipment belonging to the firm has been leased to later or some lump sum payment of $61,000. Now in the given situation, it is the industrial equipment belonging to the firm has been leased to the later firm, in the sense that not the partnership firm, this foreign company. So foreign company has leased it to the later for a lump sum consideration of this amount. Now there is a lease of industrial equipment. Okay. Now this lease of industrial equipment, basically it is a payment made for the use of these industrial equipments, is royalty in terms of the definition. I already told you that the royalty definition is very important, and you got to remember that very well from the examination point of view. Okay. Now see, these particular provisions with respect to the royalty, the explanation market is very, very important. The royalty means the consideration with respect to the following, okay, and excluding the consideration which is chargeable under the head capital gains. So had it been any amount taxable under that capital gains, it will not be regarded as a royalty for this purpose. Okay. Transfer of all of any of the rights which is with respect to patent, invention, model, design, secret formula, process, trademark or similar property. Okay. Imparting any information concerning, that means if you get any information about any patent, invention, model, design, secret formula, etc. for the use of any patent, invention, model, design, secret formula, process, trademark or similar property, for any use, for using of any of these particular thing also, if you spend the money, it will be regarded as a royalty. Now, imparting any information concerning technical, industrial, commercial, scientific knowledge, experience or a skill. So if you get any information, knowledge about these technical, industrial, commercial, etc., it will also be regarded as a royalty transaction. Okay. For the use or right to use any industrial, commercial, scientific equipments, any industrial equipments, if you pay any money for the use of any industrial equipment, okay, but of course not including this specified transaction. So if you spend any money for the use of the industrial equipments, okay, basically for the use of these particular assets, it will also be regarded as a part of the royalty payment under these particular provisions. Okay. So similarly, for use of this particular assets also, the industrial assets basically will also be regarded as a royalty payment. So first conclusion that you have to derive, that this firm, whatever this payment, which is of course lump sum, but doesn't matter, it is for the industrial equipment, and therefore it is a transaction of a royalty technical fee. This conclusion is very important. Okay. Moment you say it's a royalty technical fees, then straight away section 9 application comes into picture, that you are receiving this particular money from an Indian company. That means Indian company is always resident in India, so it will always be deemed to accrue or rise in India, except if it was in relation to a business outside India. But nothing of that data has been given. So Indian company is generally having business inside India, so these payments are for the business inside India. Okay, so it will be deemed to accrue or arise in India. That is point number 1. Okay. Then the point number 2, straight away 115A provisions comes into picture, because 115A is a special rate of tax, which already explained that to you some time back also. Royalty technical fee subjected to the conditions. That means if this transaction is approved by the government, or if it is covered by the industrial policy of India, and it should be case other than 44DA. That means you should not have a permanent establishment in India. So that 44DA situation is not given to us in the question. So let us say that 115A conditions are satisfied. That means you do not have a permanent establishment, and this transaction is covered by industrial policy of India. Okay. So you will be covered by the special rates of tax. Okay. Now, moment you are covered by special rates of tax, against 1151B, okay, any expenditure to on the income is not allowed as a reduction. So you have already spent $3,000 to earn this particular income. So these $3,000 conversion rate is given to me, but this $3,000 will not be allowed to you as a deduction if you are covered by 115A. Okay. However, the deduction under chapter 6A, that is your contribution to Prime Minister National Relief Fund, that is allowed, because against 1B type income, deduction under chapter 6A is allowed. Okay. So ultimately, and that technical interpretation now already explained that to you. So now I'm not going to turn the Barrett all the time. Okay, so their computation will be done like that. Okay, 61,000 into conversion rate is given to me is 70. Okay, so I'm just doing compute the tax liability. So 61,000 into 70 is 42,70,000. Okay, expenditure is not allowed, and this 10,000, which is a contribution to this particular situation. I think just make one correction here. Let it be 10,000. What the big deal? Okay, let it be 10,000. Okay, so 10,000, because I was just thinking, the 42,70,000 only 10,000 you are giving the contribution. You should increase the amount. But anyway, I forget it. Let it be 10,000. What difference it makes? Okay, so 42,70,000 and 10,000 you will get a contribution as a deduction. Okay, and you will get a net income. Okay, this is something what is covered by 115A provisions. Okay, and on the net income you will get a special rate of tax, and you will be able to get the tax liability calculation. However, supposing if you assume that 115A provisions are not applicable. So 115A is a condition. No, supposing you have a P in India, then 115A will not apply. Now, supposing if this is not covered by industrial policy of India, then because that is not clearly written. So we will do all the variation of the answer. Okay, so that you understand that if 115A is applicable, then how do you answer? And if 115 conditions are not satisfied, then also how do you answer? Okay, so both the ways. So supposing if 115A provision conditions are not satisfied, then what do we do? Okay, now in this particular situation, 42,70,000 is your gross income minus 3,000 multiply with this 10. So 2,10,000 expenditure, you will get the deduction. So now you will get the expenditure as a deduction, normal income and normal expense. Okay, whatever is your contribution of this Prime Minister National Relief Fund, 10,000 you can get it. Okay, because against 115 1B income you can get that particular deduction. Okay, and on that you multiply normal rates of foreign company tax rate, you will multiply. So this will be your net income, and you will get a normal rates of tax of the foreign company, which will multiply and get the amount of the tax liability. This is how it is going to make the difference. So point is that expenditure to on the income, if 115 condition is not satisfied, you can get that particular deduction. However, special rate of tax in that case will not be applicable. So both the ways, whether 115 will apply or not apply, we are given that particular answer. Okay, now see the second part of the answer. Will your answer be different if 61,000 is in nature of dividends? Okay, so instead of that royalty transaction, question is assuming that if it is a dividend income, that what you will do. Now dividend income is also covered by 115A1. Now one thing that let me bring to your notice very, very importantly, that dividend incomes of non-resident, not being a company or a foreign company, is covered by special rates of taxes, and it is irrespective of whether it is dividend on shares held as stock in trade or shares held like that. Dividend income is straight away covered by special rates of tax, and this dividend income, the special rate of tax is 20%. Okay, and here there is no great condition. So here 115A provisions for non-resident foreign company will of course be applicable. Okay, so in this particular case, the dividend income will be 42 lakh. That will be $61,000 into 70 is the conversion rate. That is going to be your income. Okay. Now against 115A, 1A income, any expenditure is not allowed. So I already told you that. See, even if income under that other source is no, you will not get any deduction. See, no deduction shall be allowed against income under 28 to 44, that was business income, section 57. 57 is basically income and expenditure with respect to income under the other source. That means nothing will be allowed. Okay, so 42,70,000. Okay, now against 42,70,000 is 10,000 Prime Minister National Relief Fund deduction also you will not get, because chapter 6A deduction are not allowed. So 42,70,000 rupees First of all, let me clarify that against the dividend income, that is 115 A, 1A income under subclause 4, where GTI includes subclause A income, then no deduction shall be allowed to him under chapter 6A. So against interest dividend type income, that is clause A type income, no deduction under chapter 6A is permitted. Yeah, so these are the some things that you have to remember it very, very properly. And so your income is 42,70,000, and straight away you multiply with the special rates of taxes. And of course, applicable surcharge and the applicable cess, as the case may be, it will result into your tax liability calculation. Okay. Now come to the next third part. As I told you, the computation here is all calculator work. The international taxation is fully concepts, friends. Fully concepts. The concepts hardcore should be clear. Otherwise, difficult to secure marks here. Okay. Now, in the third situation, okay, will you answer if 61,000 is in nature of interest from Indian companies instead of lease of industrial equipment. Now, this particular interest income from Indian companies, if it is in relation to a debt incurred in the foreign currency, then it will be covered by 115 A1. 1A, sorry. C. And otherwise, it should be some specified interest. But that specified interest, exact situation is not given to us in the question. Okay. So again, I will say that if 115A conditions are satisfied or not satisfied. Okay. Now see, subclause A, interest received from government Indian concern on monies borrowed or a debt incurred by government or Indian concern in the foreign currency, not being an interest which is specified in the below mentioned clauses. That means below mentioned clauses are some of the specified interests like infrastructure, debt fund and all that kind of situation. So if it is that specific fund, then specific rate will come into picture. But normally if it is in the foreign currency, that means if it is a foreign currency debt, then this particular clause will apply, and for that the special rate of tax will apply. So that precise data is not given to me, whether it is interest on debt incurred which is in the foreign currency. Okay, that is not given to me. So I will assume it both the ways because I want to answer and I want students to learn it very properly. Okay, so supposing if you say that 115A provisions conditions are applicable and 115A not applicable if it is a interest transaction. Okay, now if 115A is satisfied, then your income will be 42,70,000. No expenditure will be allowed, so it will be 42,70,000. Okay. Deduction under chapter 6 is also not allowed because it is 1A income. Yes, sir. It will be 42,70,000 income. That's all. Finish. If 115A provision is applicable, however, you will have a special rates of taxes if you are covered by 115A provisions. Okay. If you are not covered by 115A provision, then it will be 42,70,000 minus the expenditure. Expenditure to earn that particular income was $3,000, so it was 2,10,000. So it will be 40,60,000. Okay, and in normal course, chapter 6 deduction is also permitted. So let it be 10,000, which is already given, and the balance figure will be your net income chargeable to tax. However, you will have a normal rates of tax. Our assessee is a foreign company, so tax rate of the foreign company which will be applicable in these particular circumstances. And this is how your computation will differ in the situation. Now friends, come to this particular question. And in every question, friends, once you understand that whether it is a royalty or not, then special rates of taxes, I already explained that to you, that how the special rate of taxes interpretation has to be carried out, and accordingly you can give the answer. Now, in the given case, Bharat Mines is an Indian company entered into agreement with the British Mines. So British Mines is basically a foreign company, and foreign company is receiving some money from Indian company. So when you are receiving from an Indian company is always resident in India. So you are receiving any payment from resident. If it is on account of royalty technical fees, then it will always be deemed to occur as in India if it is in relation to business, Indian business. However, in the given case, it is not given to us that it is with respect to a foreign business or something like that. So here there is some technical services which is given to us. in India, see this is in India, and therefore this particular money will always be deemed to occur as in India as per section 9. With respect to exploration extraction of our consideration was fixed was 5 lakhs. Now the payment is for the technical services, but it is given to you in form of a breakup. So this can confuse you whether the entire consideration, that means see ultimately the contract which has been entered into, the contract is to provide technical services, but there are some internal breakups. When these particular internal breakups have been provided, you will think that for example this is salary, okay, so $2 lakh. So whether $2 lakh is on account of technical services or whether it is a salary payment, okay, because in the special rates of tax, only if it is royalty technical fees under section 115A, then some special rates of tax can be applicable. So one of the thing is where the primary agreement is with respect to technical services, that means the technical fees, and all these breakups have been given to us, okay. So one have to interpret like that: the technical services, the entire consideration, although the breakup is done, but this is out of one single contract and one single contract of the technical services, and therefore it will be regarded as a technical services, okay. Now discuss the taxability of the above payment in the hands of British men. So it is already covered by section 9, therefore it will be deemed to occur or arise in India in the hands of the British mines, okay. Now whether the return of income is required to be filed, so this is with respect to section 115A. Under 115A, if the conditions of 115A are satisfied, okay, then we'll apply special rates of tax, and if the special rates of tax are applicable, then there is a relaxation which is provided under section 115A, that if this is the only income and the tax required to be deducted have already been deducted, then there is no need for this foreign company to file a return of income in India. But the basic conditions of 115A, okay, the 115A, 1A, 1B, right now in relation to 1B, royalty technical fees, okay, other than those covered by section 44DA. I once again repeat, section 44DA is a situation where this assessee has got a permanent establishment in India. That means you have some fixed place of operation in India. So it should be other than this. That means the assessee here should not have a permanent establishment in India. Only then this 115A provision of special rates of tax will be applicable. And if you have a permanent establishment in India, then the special rate will not apply. Instead of that, the normal provisions will be applicable. That's all the difference with respect to the permanent establishment. Now 44DA provision also, I have already given it to you, see here. However, this actually, if you see the section number wise, it is a section of a business income, because section 44 comes under the chapter of business income, but I just copy pasted the law here under this particular provision, okay. Royalty technical fees through a permanent establishment in India. Through a permanent establishment in India. So this particular section simply says that if it is royalty technical fees through a permanent establishment in India, that means you have some fixed place of operation in India. Some fixed place of operation in India. In that particular case, you will not have special rates of tax, but instead you will have a general purpose provision. That means you will have a situation of income minus expenditure computation. So special rates of tax will not be there in this particular situation, okay. So that way it's a detailed section, but no need to go into the technical details of these particular provisions, okay. Now the other conditions of 115A, okay. This particular agreement should be approved by the government, okay, or it should have been subject matter of industrial policy of India. That means this particular transaction relates to the industrial policy of India. Now this thing is not clearly printed in the question, and generally the questions don't have a habit of printing this particular condition. So, and that is the reason I will say that, okay, if 115A conditions are satisfied, that way I say for the class 4 purpose, okay. So if 115A conditions are, that means the agreement is either approved by the government or it is covered, it relates to the matter covered by industrial policy of India, okay, then 115A provisions will be applicable. And if 115A provision is applicable, then we will do the computation in the following manner. Now that computation we already know that, but I will tell you. See, If 115A provision is applicable, then this is your income. Okay. Then the British man has spent this many dollars to earn the above income. That means expenditure will not be allowed as a deduction, because 115A specifically says that expenditure against this particular will not be allowed as a deduction. Okay. However, contribution to Prime Minister National Relief Fund, that is Chapter 6A deduction. Chapter 6A deduction is permissible when it comes to 151B income. Okay. And therefore, I will give this particular deduction of Section 80G with respect to contribution to Prime Minister National Relief Fund, because under 115A1B there is a enabling situation of Chapter 6A deductions. Okay. And thereafter I will do the special rates of tax and get the tax liability. The expenditure not allowed and Chapter 6A deductions allowed. Okay. And accordingly the tax liability will be clear. Will you be required to file a return of income? Then I'll have to give a comment. I will say that, see, look at these particular provisions. Return, filing advantage under subclause 5, where there is under 115A A or B. Okay, either of the situation. There is not any need to file a return of income if tax required to have been deducted has been deducted appropriately. Okay, that means if the tax is appropriately deducted, then no need to file the return of income. So there's a relaxation given that no need to file the return subject to the TDS compliances. Okay, that's the end of this part of the answer. Now supposing if you assume that 115A conditions are not satisfied. Okay, that means you are covered by regular provisions. Okay, so this will be your gross income. See, this will be your gross income. Expenditure, you will get the deduction. Conversion rate is already given to you. So income minus expenditure, give Chapter 6A deduction. You will get the net income. After the net income, multiply the normal rates of tax and get the amount of the tax liability. That's all when it comes to the computational difference in this particular situation. Now come to this part of the particular question, and in this particular question that concept of composite contract etc. comes into the picture. Now see, there is a company, a Korean non-resident company entered into agreement for designing and all that, okay, with an Indian company. Okay, now Indian company is always resident in India, and you are entering into an agreement with an Indian company, and since the payment is received by foreign company from an Indian concern, that means resident in India, then it will always be deemed to accrue or arise in India as per Section 9 if the transaction is in nature of royalty technical fees. That is a very clear-cut kind of a provision. Okay. Now agreement is into two parts. Now this creates a little bit of a confusion. One is the value charged for fabrication of structure, okay, 20 crores and having a profit of 2 crores. So you have two parts agreement. On one part is a fabrication of the structure and profit on that is 2 crores. Okay. And second one is installation and commissioning of structure in Bombay. Okay, and for that the profit is 1.5 crores. Okay, this is installation. Okay, now Korean company will also be setting up an office in India for installation commission, likely to be completed in 9 months. You are required to discuss the tax treatment of the same. Now, in the given case, there is two part of the transaction. One is supply of some plant and machinery, fabricated material, and second one is the installation. Now you see, the installation is basically the service factor, and the supply of fabricated material is basically something like a supply of goods. Okay, and this agreement is in two separate parts altogether. Now first of all, whether these both the parts, that means supply of fabricated material and the supply of service, because installation is a supply of services, whether it is to be regarded as one single composite transaction or a separate transaction altogether. This is something what is always debated in the courtroom. Now, in the given case, both the transaction, that is a supply of fabricated material and the installation is done by the same party, but it is under two separate agreement, it is under two separate contracts altogether, and it is clearly divisible. The breakup is easily possible, and transaction is also considered separate. So it is something like I sell the goods to you, and after selling the goods to you, I will install the goods for you also. Okay, so that kind of two separate transaction. So here in such a situation, we have to consider it as a two separate contracts. Okay, and since it is a clear breakup available, easily divisible, only then we can consider. Otherwise, you cannot consider it like that. Okay, now when it comes to the sale of fabricated material, fabrication of the structure which is in Korea. Okay. Okay, fabrication of the structure which is done in Korea, value is 20 crores, having the element of profit this much. Okay, so the supply of this particular material, the fabricated material, okay, is purely outside India. Okay, so it is something like the Korean company, the Korean company is selling the goods in its own country. Okay, so the sale of goods is in their country. You are the importer of the goods, so you are importing this particular goods to India. So profit on sale of goods, because the place of sale as understood here in this particular situation is in that particular country. Okay, and therefore this profit will not be taxable in India. Okay, this will not be taxable in India. Why? Because the place of sale of that particular goods is outside India. However, the installation is the services, and the installation is always done inside India, because these goods are the fabricated material and all that is to be installed in India. So installation, the place of services is inside India. Okay, and therefore the profit on installation will of course be taxable in India in this particular situation. Okay, and therefore you are required to compute regarding that installation and commissioning and all that, which will be completed in this particular 9 months of time. And therefore see, one of the extra point also it is there, it will be setting up an office. So it can also be said that you are going to have a permanent establishment in India with respect to the installation services, and therefore whatever the profit that you have on the installation, which is 1.5 crores, is accrued in India, and therefore it is of course taxable in India. Okay, so this answer is given on the premise, because there are quite a good number of judgments on this kind of situation. It is given to you in the premise that there are two separate contracts separately executed and they can separately operate. Two separate contracts, and accordingly the answer is given. Now come to this particular question. This question is also extension of a similar concept which we studied some time back. And see this, the Indian company made two agreements. Foreign company for purchase of machine at a consolidated consideration. Okay, so one agreement is for the purchase and other is for the purpose of supervising and the installation. Okay, now here in this particular situation, how the agreement has been executed, that means the supply of material and thereafter installation, that means the supply of services, whether they are two separate or whether they are two independent or whether it is a composite contract, it depends on the facts, how the agreement has been installed, how the agreement has been signed, what kind of exact situation is, that means whether it is a complete material, that means the supply of material, whether it is independent of the installation services. So all these facts will decide all that. Okay, however, in this particular question, now this particular assessing officer is trying to say whether Indian company is an agent under section 163 of the foreign company. Okay, now agent under section 163 is subjected to the conditions that what kind of relationship that this foreign company and the Indian company is having. Is Indian company in the given situation an agent or their outright purchaser? That means the transaction is whether on a principal to principal basis or a principal to agent basis. Okay, now see, if there is a outright sale purchase transaction, it is purely a transaction on a principal to principal basis. Okay, and in that particular situation, the profit on sale of material outside India cannot be brought to tax in India. Reason being the transaction is purely on a principal to principal basis. However, the services, if provided in India, will always accrue or arise in India. So profit on providing services in India will of course be taxable in India. So it depends on how this particular contract etc. has been executed. So this entire answer is dependent on the fact that how the transaction has been affected whether Indian company, foreign company, they are principal to principal dealing or they are doing principal to agent relationship. Okay. Now, officer is saying that Indian company was engaged under 163, a foreign company, and it was a business connection between two companies. Do you agree? No, I don't agree. So, why I don't agree? That just because seller buyer is doing a transaction does not mean that one becomes the agent of the another. If it is a straightforward sale and buy transaction, it is purely a transaction on a P2P basis. In that particular case, the profits which are of the foreign company out of this particular transaction for the sale outside India will not be taxable if it is on a P2P basis. But if it is on a P2A basis, that means Indian company is acting as an agent of the foreign company, then that profit will be taxable in India. So here I will say that I do not agree. I will also say that there is also a little bit of a lack of information that how exactly this transaction was carried out, whether it was a principal to principal, principal to agent relationship. So because of the lack of data, I am not able to conclude my answer. So I will say give my answer this way, that if it is on P2P basis, then profits not taxable in India. If it is on a P2A basis, then profit will be taxable in India. However, if there is any services which are accrued in India, the profit on services will of course be taxable in India, no matter whether it is P2P or P2A, because if anything is accrued in India, it is always taxable in India, and there is no exception to that particular situation. Now come to this particular question. See, in this particular case, there is a collaboration agreement between a foreign company and an Indian company. Indian company is always resident in India, and under a collaboration agreement, you are providing this technical know-how, manufacturing process design. And this is a perfect details which is given to us, that the transaction is royalty technical fees. That means section 9 will be straight away applicable, that a foreign company is receiving money from a resident will always be deemed to accrue as in India, except if it was in relation to a business outside India. But this is not in relation to business outside India. Okay. And so this particular transaction will be deemed to accrue as in India. Okay. Now you are making a payment in form of by issuing debentures. Okay, so the consideration which you are paying is not directly into cash, but you are paying this particular money in form of a issue of debentures under category A. Under point B, that is a service charges at the rate of 2.5%. Now, firstly, the doubt will come into picture now whether this service charges is a separate than know-how manufacturing process. That means service charges is not royalty. You will think like that. So, in this particular situation, it is whatever the payment is for the nature that you have to study, and by and large it will be in relation to royalty technical fees, because it is services in relation to this particular industrial situation. But it is again given to us. The service charges is with respect to value of plant and machinery which is leased to an Indian company. So even if there is any payments with respect to for the use of these industrial assets, okay, will also be regarded as a royalty technical fees. That technical fees definition, royalty definition, I've already explained that to you in the past. Okay, so this is again a royalty technical fees transaction. Okay. Secondly, friends, since there is an issue of debentures which is 8%, on that you will also give interest. Okay, and the interest transaction also depending on whether the debt is incurred into foreign currency or not. Okay, so that again the exact data is not, because interest income also will be taxable only, because on the debenture will get interest income. So even that interest income will be taxable. But whether this particular interest income will be covered by section 115A or not, because see here as such the amount is given to us that it is into rupees and all that transaction. Okay, so where the monies are borrowed or the debt is incurred in the foreign currency, then 115A provisions can be applicable. So depending on the situation, that whether 115A conditions are satisfied or not. Okay, so we will give the answer. We will give the answer on both the ways. Okay, first of all saying that 115A conditions are satisfied. Okay, or if 115A conditions are not satisfied, that way we can give the answer. But it is always better that because if it is not satisfied, then it is always a normal computation, so I will not spend so much of energy. So I will more focus on 115A now. Okay, that 115A provisions are satisfied, assuming that. Okay, so your royalty technical fees will be 50 lakhs. See the computation will be 50 lakhs. Okay, service charges will be 2.5% of 500 lakhs. Okay, so that is going to be just multiply how much it comes to 12 lakhs 50,000. Okay, this is going to be royalty technical fees. Thereafter, it is going to be the debenture interest, that is 8%, but that is issued on which date? Just check whether it is for the entire year. So it is issued on 1st April. So 8% of 50 lakhs. So 4 lakhs will be your debenture interest. Okay, this is going to be your income computation. Now, this answer is given based on the condition that 115A conditions are satisfied. Okay, so this is my total income, 66.50 lakhs. Okay, then deduction under chapter 6A. Now, in the given question, there is no data, there is no information about deduction under chapter 6. Like in previous questions, we had no contribution to Prime Minister National Relief Fund, nothing of that sort. But you have to understand, I already explained that to you, but I repeat, the chapter 6 deduction will not be available against the debenture interest. Okay, that means chapter 6 deduction maximum which can be available in the given question, if any, will be only against royalty technical fees income, that is your 50 plus 12.5. This is a maximum permissible overall chapter 6 deduction. However, in the given question, chapter 6 deduction data is not there, but I'm just giving you that particular clarification. Okay, so ignore chapter 6 deduction, so it is 66.5 lakhs. Okay, now with this, you will multiply royalty technical fees at the specific rate, and the interest will be at the specific rate. Okay, so both the rates are separate rates. Now that I have already given it to you under section 115A, and applicable surcharge and the applicable cess, you will get the amount of the tax liability. Now this is on the assumption that 115A conditions are satisfied. Okay, and your computation is over. So compute the income and accordingly give the answer. Okay, now the second situation. In the second situation, it is given, compute the tax liability of Kangaroo Australia on the assumption that the tax treaty with Australia provides for tax rate of 5% on the royalty technical fees. So, whenever there is any double taxation treaties which are there, and if any such concessional rates of tax is available, then we have to take that particular beneficial rate. Okay, so DTAA rate or the domestic rate, whichever is more beneficial. So royalty technical fees rate was 10% as per 115A provisions. Okay, so now it is just 5%. So royalty technical fees, I will take it as 5% because such concessional rates are permissible. But now what will be the problem in the second situation? In the second situation, see, royalty technical fees I will multiply with 5%. Okay, this will be a DTAA rate. Okay, now in the second situation, friends, when it comes to the surcharge and the cess, okay, now in the given case, because the amount is not crossing the limit, the surcharge will not come. However, when it comes to the cess, whenever there is any rate which is covered by DTAA, on that surcharge and cess is normally not applicable. So normally DTAA do not have any mentions for this kind of surcharge and the cess provisions. So any income which is taxed as per the domestic provisions, on that only you have to multiply with the surcharge or the cess, applicable surcharge and applicable cess. Okay, and therefore only the tax on interest will be subject matter of surcharge and the cess, applicable surcharge and the applicable cess. If surcharge not applicable, then you just forget it. Okay, so ultimately DTAA rates or the domestic rates, whichever is beneficial, and surcharge and the cess do not apply if the rates of DTAA is applicable. Now the third situation. Okay, in the third situation, compute the tax liability of the Kangaroo Australia, the assumption they provide services from Chennai, India. If you are providing these particular services from Chennai, then straight away 44 DA provisions will be applicable. Okay, because you now have a permanent establishment in India. And moment 44 DA is applicable, that means you have a permanent establishment in India. 115A provisions are not applicable. That's all. Okay, so now the answer will change. Okay, in the given question, we had been up to now multiplying the special rates of tax, but now I will not multiply special rates of tax. I will multiply with the regular rates of tax. So the tax rates of the foreign company will be applicable. However, that particular expenditure to on the income, chapter 6 deduction, all that data is not there in the question. So had it been there, then I will consider, like in the previous questions also I explained that to you. Okay. So now in the third situation, the tax rates of the foreign company which will be applicable, that means 115A provisions. 115A provisions will not be applicable in this particular situation. Only thing that you can say here, that the moment you have this particular services from Chennai and all that, then royalty technical fees 1151B provisions definitely not applicable. Okay, but the interest to non-resident foreign company, that particular special rate of tax can be applicable, because for that 44DA condition is not there. So accordingly you have to take the decision in this particular situation. A beautiful piece of clarification.